shall be perfect.
I hear thunder. That's kind of crappy thunder, but this is JangBi versus Flash. And you know it's the one you've been waiting for. Come on. You know it. I know it. I'm pumped. I'm so excited for this matchup. Flash has the win in this series so far. So JangBi, if he wants to win, he has to win 2 in a row against Flash. And I can't remember the last time Flash lost 2 in a row. So this is nearly insurmountable for poor JangBi. But I hope he can perform. I hope he can bring it to 3 sets at least and give us an awesome series. Because JangBi played well. Let me rephrase that. He had a good strategy in the first game. Good strategy, poor execution. And you can't have poor execution against Flash. So I'll be very interested to see what he has in store for Pathfinder, because the last time he played a Terran on this map, I believe he went for a Dark Templar drop strategy, which ended up working fantastically against Baby, I think it was. But here we go. Thunder, lightning. Except, up at the 12 o'clock position in orange is JangBi. That means down at the 8 o'clock position in yellow is Flash. Can't even believe I'm watching this. But this is so fantastically epic. Yeah, I'm very excited right now, and I didn't even have any coffee. I'm just buzzing. Sitting in my seat. Okay, let's get some predictions first, before these guys rip each other to shreds in the most epic way possible. Here's one from If God Was a Player. Writes, Flash will not send his SCVs to mine for the first 2 minutes in every game and still win. That's my prediction. Ooh, early probe. Pretty early probe moving out. That early probe is going down, possibly to try to do a gas steal, but he is going the wrong direction. JangBi is going the wrong direction, so he will not be able to steal the gas if that was his intention. His intention might be for a proxy, but I doubt it. Probably just trying to go for that gas steal. But as I said, it's not going to work out. Plus, I think he is looking around for some cheesiness, possibly looking for cheese. But anyway, until he reaches Flash's base, let's get another prediction. Here's one from WMagic1990. Good year. Writes, Flash won't beat JangBi. He will allow him to lose. Oh, snap. Another one from Gold Robber. Writes, JangBi will pwn everything that stands in his way, even the Terminator. I am the Terminator. I'll be back with Picari's sweat. Yes. Something like that. But the gas is coming up for Flash. That was unsuccessful. Stealing of the gas. JangBi went to the wrong base, so he's just going to try it again here, get in here and get a little bit of scouting information. He's not going to get much. He sneaks by through the little blockade that Flash had set up. That is not a complete wall in, but he is going to see the refinery up and see how many SCVs are mining on that gas. Cybernetic score is up, and Flash is looking all over the place for something. Not sure what Flash is up to be honest. He could be looking for proxies of any kind. Or maybe he just went up to this position. I thought he came from the 12 o'clock. I'm not exactly sure but Flash pulling a couple SCVs off of the gas. So he just wanted to jumpstart his factory, get that going as quickly as he can. And he could be going for a proxy of his own. Not exactly sure. But he's going over here. He sees that JangBi is not down at that position, not at the 5 o'clock position, so he's moving out. And JangBi going to try to take out an SCV. Oh, he takes out the SCV! What? JangBi takes out an SCV, very early SCV, and I can't believe that Flash lost that SCV. He's usually much more up on his micro when it comes to things like that. But that was pretty awesome. JangBi takes it down. Working on his Dragoon range, so he's going to push the front with Dragoons as soon as he can. He did not go for the early assimilator this time, I believe. Did not go for that to do to really get a drop strategy going to tech up as quickly as he can. He is not going for that this time around, which is probably good because I'm sure that Flash would have anticipated it if he'd watched JangBi's game against Baby. It's good to shake things up every now and then, even though that was a very powerful build. Flash is in here picking on the minerals, just trying to make it more difficult for the probes to mine. There's a machine shop coming up for Flash, and it looks like JangBi is going to head out of there. He wasn't in long enough to see the command center coming up, but he might assume that's coming up soon. He didn't see the starport coming up or anything, and he didn't see an additional factory, so he knows that Flash is probably not going for any funny business, no kind of fast pushes of any kind. But the robotics facility is up, and Flash is in long enough to see it. He's keeping that scout alive pretty long now. The Dragoon takes it down, so we're going to have 2 Dragoons pushing the front soon enough. So Flash is probably going to have to build the bunker pretty quickly. Of course, he is working on that tank first. He wants to get the tank out, but he's got to be careful that JangBi does not snipe the first tank, because that could definitely still happen when a Terran goes for this kind of a build. Oh, Flash. Oh, JangBi. They're both playing so well, I can tell already. Still can't believe JangBi took out an SCV. This is Flash, man! And speaking of Flash, I've been holding my tongue for all of these games, trying desperately not to talk about the Pro League Finals, because I know it was just a week ago, and every time I mention something that happened a week ago, people yell, they're like, Nuke, why you gotta talk about that? It just happened, I didn't get a chance to watch it. So go watch the freaking Pro League Finals, man. I'm not going to talk about it today, but I really, really wish I could, because it was interesting, to say the least, and Flash's perspective, for TVP perspective. But anyway, you should just watch that final. That is my recommendation. It was probably the best Pro League final I've ever seen. So good. There's a probe scout going down. JangBi is trying to be sneaky and hide that thing. But yeah, Pro League Finals, watch it. Every single game was enjoyable. Every single one. Especially the last one. That was just almost StarCraft at its best in those last few games. A fantastic Brood War, which I hope this will be as well. Okay, JangBi going to put down his 3rd base. That put down the 2nd already, going for a quick 3rd. This is very much a Con Protoss style. Oh, glitchy probes there. Sometimes probes do get caught between buildings if you're trying to transfer them to another base. Just a kind of a glitch there. And it's how JangBi set up his gateways, but he got them there eventually, so I guess that's all good. 3rd base coming up for JangBi, and it is pretty much Con Protoss style to go for the 2nd and 3rd base at the same time when going up against Terran. So, JangBi, going to have up his observers soon, just to scout and see what Flash is up to. This is very good to go for your observers first, to hover over that main, see what's going on. It's very tempting to go for a Reaver drops, something like that on this map, just because the bases are so close together. But yeah, you want to get in there, you want to see what's happening first before you start using the epic Reaver stuff. 2 more gateways from JangBi, so he's going to be really kicking in the gates soon, pumping a lot of Dragoons. Let's see if Flash will be prepared for that. He already has his 2 factories, both with machine shops, which means tanks. He isn't even doing any vulture harassment yet. He wants to get out a heavy amount of tanks to help him secure more bases. Oh, more probe glitchiness. JangBi did not position his gateways very well, it seems, for probe transfer at least. Oh, those poor probes. Look at them. Trying their best to get over there. Yeah, probes, generally the best unit. Sometimes they can glitch just like every other mining unit, though. So JangBi, I have a feeling we're not going to see him transfer probes anytime soon from that main. But he does have a Citadel of Adun coming up. This means the Templar Archives on the way. Could be seeing Arbiters soon. There's another command center from Flash. He's going to float over to the outside base, the outside mineral only. Try to take that, and that's probably why he went for so many tanks early on. He's going to need some tanks back there to get the siege, get the range going, and it looks like JangBi might be pushing the front soon with probably Dragoon. Yeah, just a bunch of Dragoons. He's trying to do some mine clearing, but he's noticing, wait a second, there's no mines out here. What is going on? So Flash must be going for tanks. So going for Arbiters would especially work well against this, being able to stasis a large clump of tanks. Obviously not much else out there. Now, Flash will eventually get some vultures out for the harassment, but just sticking with the tanks for now. Sticking some kind of anti-shuttle kind of build, too, to be able to outrange any Reaver drops, something like that. He has his tanks at the front getting ready to float over. Oh, he's going to float over to the 6 o'clock position instead to secure another gas, possibly for heavier factory support. There's a +1 upgrade being researched by JangBi. Arbiter Tribunal, so he is getting out the Arbiters. There's Goliath out as well, sniping of the Observer. Flash, even when the Observer wasn't moving, he knew exactly where it was. And here's Flash putting his tanks down at the 6 o'clock position, playing very defensively. He wants to get his economy up and running, because Flash is very, very good when he has a booming economy. When he has a booming economy, there's almost no stopping Flash, just because his multitasking skills are so good. JangBi was going to attempt to take out the 6 o'clock position, but then he realizes, no, there's tanks in there, I won't be able to handle this yet. Need to start working on the Zealots. Getting out the Arbiter. JangBi is macroing up like crazy. Both these guys are macroing up like crazy. JangBi has already taken the 12 o'clock mineral only. A bunch of extra factories coming up for Flash now, working on his army upgrades. +1 attack for the ground. And a nice little pylon wall there from JangBi. You can tell he's planned this series out. This match out at least. But transferring more probes from that main. Hopefully those probes make it in one piece and don't get hung up again. Alright, tanks everywhere. Flash has an excellent defensive grid going. JangBi getting rid of the engineering base scout that was going to float over. And now Flash has to pull back with some of his tanks, get a nicer defensive line going, especially if he wants to take that outside mineral only. He's got to be all over the place with those tanks. It's going to make it very difficult for him. I'm surprised he hasn't done more harassment in this game, but he has not focused on a harassment-style game. He's going purely defensive to get as many bases as he can. Because if he did go for a more aggressive, harassment-focused game, I think he would have a very tough time taking extra bases. And that's probably the main thing on Flash's mind right now, is like, it's difficult to take additional bases on this map, so I need to take as many early, get my economy running, I can defend that, and then I can start pushing out and take extra bases as I'm pushing. That's probably what's going through his mind. He's already going to get his I think he's going to get a science vessel out soon, because he has the control tower on his starport. Lots of gateways coming up for JangBi. He's going to be able to support it pretty easily too, especially with that outside mineral only base. Here comes the Arbiter to help out the rest of the troops. Flash has as I said, a pretty nice defensive grid going, but he's got to pull back with some of his tanks. He has tanks spread out from the natural expansion to the 6 o'clock position. He's going to have to bring them into one location soon. He hasn't been able to lay any mines yet, but luckily for him, JangBi has not gone for a lot of Zealots yet. That's probably what he's going for now. Putting down all those gateways and taking the mineral only. He's going to be pumping a lot of Zealots, taking another base as well. So JangBi is trying to take the 5 o'clock main. Flash hasn't even caught on to that yet. That base is already coming up, a cannon right next to it to fend off any harassment. But JangBi has 4 High Templar out. If he picks those up with shuttles, we could be seeing a very interesting engagement soon from JangBi. Neither player has really attacked one another yet. Yeah, Flash going for a purely defensive game now, getting his economy cooking, and then he's going to push out with an ungodly number of tanks, and he already has his Vulture speed up. So now he's going to go for a little bit of harassment, I think. Finally got the mines, and yeah, he's trying to anticipate where JangBi is going to attack him from, because he's just begging JangBi to attack him so he can basically get all of his tanks positioned correctly, and JangBi just won't be expecting the amount of tanks that Flash has. But in the meantime, he's letting JangBi expand everywhere, so going for this defensive type of build might not be the best idea in the world for Flash. Flash, one of his big strengths is the large mid-game push, where he's able to multitask like crazy and macro at the same time as he does a big push. I mean, Terran requires probably the most micro of any of the races. It's just so many hotkeys involved with their army. So it's very difficult to macro at the same time as you're pushing out. You gotta press O, you gotta press I, you gotta move a certain units to the front. You gotta use those vultures to pick off the Zealots. Gotta focus in with those Zealots, make sure the tanks don't hit each other. It's a big pain in the butt. So macroing while you're doing that is nearly impossible for most Terran players. That's why you don't see a lot of great Terran players. I mean, let's. Oh man, it's gonna be a recall for JangBi. Some mines dragged, but JangBi was able to get in there with most of his zealots. Flash is going to have to unsiege here and get back with some of his troops. He's pushing in with minimal troops here. He's trying to keep some at the front because I think he's anticipating another attack back there. There's only a few Dragoons left, and there are some tanks coming in now to clean this up. So JangBi was able to kill a few buildings, but really he hasn't gotten any significant damage done. He's not close enough to the factories to really make that worth it. So the tanks are going to clean up the Dragoons now pretty easily. Tank Splash takes out Dragoons pretty quickly. And so JangBi's not going to be able to do a lot there. He's still pumping Dragoons everywhere. Look at the gateways from JangBi. This is incredible macro from JangBi. I think this is going to take Flash a little off guard. I don't think he knew that JangBi is this macro-focused of a player today. JangBi isn't typically this much of a macro player. But JangBi did not attack Flash in the way that Flash wanted him to, straight at the front. And Flash was hoping for that. But now Flash is going to move out with siege tanks. But Flash is way behind JangBi as far as macro goes, because JangBi has 6 bases all going now, so he's going to be able to support so many gateways. He's already put down so many gateways. This is going to be a huge engagement, actually, by Flash. Flash looks a little sad already. Possibly scanning and seeing how many troops that JangBi has amassed. So Flash is going to have to... Yeah, he's going to have to push out and do something. He is pushing out soon. Coming up now with a lot of tanks. He has plenty of tanks to do this as long as he keeps them from being stasis. JangBi went for recall before stasis, which is a little unusual, but that means that Flash is going to be a bit safer until stasis is done and the Arbiters have the energy again. But he's pushing up here. He might be able to corner JangBi's army. He's pushing him up to a corner. He might be able to do this as long as he keeps the High Templar at bay. Look at all those tanks, man. Huge line of tanks. JangBi is trying to do this around here, putting all of his zealots at the front. JangBi storms everywhere. There was one stasis I saw from the Arbiters. Lots of storms. Oh my god, that was a lot of storms. And Flash still takes the engagement. Incredible. So Flash still took that, even though... basically just got stormed with enough electricity to kill, I don't know, the entire human race. That was insane. But Flash is going straight for that natural expansion again. Luckily, JangBi has put down enough gateways that he can do... Look at all these gateways. Whoa, that's a lot of gateways. So here comes JangBi again, just fighting with High Templar, trying to keep Flash at bay long enough for him to get some reinforcements going. There's a scan of the natural expansion. Flash going for that natural. Not much to stand in his way except for these reinforcements just now coming up for JangBi. He's really got to hustle, though, because the tanks are moving his way. Flash trying to build his 4th base at the mineral only behind his main, but now he's pushing forward. He's got this, oh man, another stasis though. That's going to hurt him a lot. If that stasis hadn't happened, I'd say this JangBi would have an extremely hard time, but the reinforcements coming up now for Flash. He's trying to lay mines and the resupply line that JangBi has going from his 5 o'clock position, but Flash still focusing. JangBi hasn't pulled the trigger yet, but he's probably going to go in at the exact same time. Yeah, he's coming in for 3 different sides, trying to clean up these tanks that Flash has amassed. It looks like he's going to be able to do it. Nice surround of the tanks at the front. Some reinforcement tanks coming up, however, for Flash. This might be a little bit more difficult for JangBi. JangBi's have to wait for another wave of troops, which is on the way. Lots of zealots streaming in now. Lots and lots of zealots, so the zealots alone might be able to do this as long as JangBi can attack from all sides at the same time, which is easier said than done, it seems. More reinforcements coming in for Flash. Looks like he doesn't have a whole lot of zealots, well, not zealots, but vultures to fight back the zealots, so using defensive matrix to try to help out the rest of these tanks. More reinforcements. Flash is not letting up the aggression at all. He's trying to get in here, drag mines into everything. He's attacking the 9 o'clock position, trying to take down the 9 o'clock, but JangBi still has a booming economy. He can support non-stop pump from these gateways now. So Flash really has to do something with this push. He's falling back. His reinforcements are too far away from his main army, which is basically these 2 tanks. That's his main army now. Trying to get the reinforcements to them, but he's got to pull all of his units together into one big Terran ball and then attack one of the bases. But Flash, it's actually not looking good for him because he just established his mineral only, and he's going to have a tough time taking any additional bases, which I think he was trying to safeguard against earlier. And oh man, so JangBi nonstop pump, as I said, from these gateways. This is going to be absolutely insane if JangBi can pull this out. This is going to be wow. So JangBi is taking the 2 o'clock position as well as trying to jumpstart another gas, I think. Got to be careful with the mines around. The mines were definitely JangBi's worst enemy in the first game, and that hurt him a lot, but he is doing a better job of mine clearing in this game. I might not be able to defend this brand new Nexus. Flash has surrounded it with vultures, just laying some mines, making sure he can focus in. Oh, I don't know if he's going to be able to save the Nexus. Might be able to save this Nexus. It's going to be extremely close. The vulture is still focusing in. Oh, takes down the Nexus. So the 2 o'clock Nexus goes down. But Flash has got to take down another base if he really wants to make use of this. And now he is curling up behind that 5 o'clock. Going to try to take out that 5 o'clock natural expansion if he can wedge himself in there. But JangBi has anticipated this, already moving his way down. Possibly saw it with an observer, but now he's coming down with his entire army basically at the right side of the map. And Flash is retreating, trying to get in a much better defensive position. And now JangBi, he's flooding down the map right now with troops, and he might just go for a huge attack on Flash. Flash better siege soon because JangBi is coming from all directions. The mines there are going to be a big pain for JangBi, but Flash has got to fall back and siege more storms from JangBi. So Flash has really got to fight this back. It's going to be a big attack actually from JangBi. So Flash, he needs to spread out with his tanks, get them all sieged. He has a pretty good tank line. Only one tank I think got stasis there at the front, and Flash is built up with everything. But if Fantasy continues to push D-Matrix on one of the tanks at the front, JangBi getting in there with his zealots. If he has any rest of his zealots coming in, the zealots are going to help him a lot against another stasis on the tanks. Here comes JangBi, he storms over the tanks again. Both those tanks go down. Oh man, is that the face of a man who's focused or what? JangBi, oh, JangBi's going to win this game. Wow, storming everything. The Flash has basically nothing left. Storm over the SCVs. SCV's gone. JangBi, super focused. Incredible macro from JangBi in this game, although actually he went basically unharassed. That was a surprisingly strange game from Flash. To see him not go for harassment. Of course, Flash is not nearly as harassment focused as a player like Fantasy or something like that, but you think we'd have seen a lot more than we saw in this game. Flash a little bit too confident in his big brute force tank abilities, but here comes a stream of zealots. So many zealots, more High Templar coming in as well to storm over everything, just because it's JangBi, and JangBi likes his storms. GG from Flash, and now we're tied up. I was hoping this would get to a third game, and that was stellar play from JangBi. Cannot believe it. But okay, let's move on to the third set. Even more excited now.